um that does not be recorded. So now I was saying that please, if you can, at any point, if you cannot hear me, if my voice is not audible, please just let me know. So I want to start with something that's a misconception people have about programming, because if you don't get the foundation right, and that's what we are doing today, we just want to lay the foundation. So if you don't get the foundation right, you miss it along the road. And in fact, a friend once told me that in this world, in this day and age, the only thing you need about programming in this day and age is learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, and Google the rest. It's as simple as that. And now it has shifted to learn the fundamentals and prompt the rest. We don't Google again, we prompt. Just learn the fundamentals and prompt the rest. Because if you don't know the fundamentals when you're prompting, you'll just be as good as nothing. You don't even know what is going on. You'll have to be recursive learning and the rest. You'll just be parabolating on one side. So that's why you have to get your foundation right, like solid. So now you need to understand that programming language is a language. As in language in quotes is a language. So which means that you need to learn the language. So it's like you want to learn your Yoruba and you want to learn Hausa. Now, some things will not make sense. You'll be like, why is it like that? But it's not your problem, it's your own problem. So you need to, what I mean by that, you need to do away with whatever understanding you have about how tonations should sound, how things should sound. You need to pull that away and then, try to understand, okay, this is how they are doing it, this is the tonation, this is the word, this is everything. Or you want to learn Igbo, you need to understand all the semantics, the intricacies, everything, little bit, is all down to the atomic. So that is very, very relatable in programming language, because Python is a language, like a language. And then computer, we were told in our primary school that computer does not understand English. Does not understand English. The only language your computer understands is ones and zeros. 1 and 0, that's the only thing. Everything we are programming in all this thing you are seeing on my screen, what the computer understands is 1 and 0. And what it means to the computer is, it's either it is on or off. That's what it means. 1 means on, 0 means off. So if you understand that, okay, this is not my language, but for me to be able to speak to this computer in a certain way, I need to know the language it understands. So that's basically what you need to understand. So, for example, and the reason why I'm saying it is because, for example, in the indexing, in the group, there was a matter concerning indexing. And I realized that there are many people from different nations, from different countries across the world. So please, if my tonation is not really, really right with you, just let me, maybe I should just go down a bit and, use more simpler English, so that we can the mission for this can be accomplished. So now, for example, like the issue we have in the Nigerian group, I'm talking about the Nigerian group, there's this issue about indexing. You need to understand that in Python, the numbering does not start from 1. When we talk about indexing, the numbering starts from 0, and then to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, and so on, infinitely. So I think since we get that right, so that's by the way. So now, let's just go back to our, what's it called? Let me just create a new, this thing, let me create a new kernel. Then, so I believe we all know how to open our Jupyter notebook now, so that shouldn't be a problem. So, and if you do not know how to open your Jupyter notebook, please let me know. You'll just signify in the chat box, in the chat listing. So that's perhaps maybe I can just run through on how to open Jupyter notebook. But my own, I'm not using Anaconda. Okay, one person says she doesn't know. Blessing, he or she. Okay. So, all right. Let me just let me just close this tab. If, yeah. So now I do not have Anaconda. I don't know if you are using Anaconda. If you are using Anaconda, for me, from the beginning, I do not use Anaconda. Anaconda is too cumbersome, it gets too much wahala. So, and I'm not ready for the wahala. So what I did was I downloaded and installed Jupyter Notebook separately. So I'm not going to go through Jupyter Notebook. If you have Jupyter Notebook or you wanted to enter through Jupyter Notebook and through Anaconda, so maybe I can just, but my own personally, because Anaconda problem too much. So what I did was I installed Jupyter Notebook separately. So this is it. This is it. And this is the virtual environment I created for it. That was in the SQL this thing that we have. So, but I'm not more using it. So, but this is the Jupyter Notebook. And then another way I used to open it is through my command prompt. But let's just go through this channel so that there'll be not too much information to process. So now, so do this. If you are able to download this, just come here and open Jupyter Notebook. Some things will be running. This is my second screen. You see some things will be running right now. It will run and then it will open. So automatically by itself. And if it did not open automatically by itself, no, I did not create any virtual environment. I don't need to. I do not need to create any virtual environment. So because for now we are still working with simple distance. So the reason why we create virtual environment, let me quickly talk about that. The reason why we create virtual environment is because we want to download some packages, some dependencies, some modules, some things. And then there are some packages, Python packages that, how do I put this now? So there are some Python packages that the version of your Python does not is not compatible. We have that issue with SQL. So for some people, you need to downgrade your Python. Maybe some Python is not compatible with some packages, is not compatible with Python 3.17 or Python 3.13, or is only compatible with Python 3.13, and you have Python 3.17 like on your system locally. That's the Python you installed. And by the way, you need to have Python installed before all of this can work. If you don't have Python installed on your system, so if you don't have Python installed on your system, please let us know. Or maybe you have not even run this, it's not running on your system. Please let me know. So now, and that's why we create virtual environment, because all these things is not compatible, might not be compatible. So you create a virtual environment, like an environment on your computer, which means you can download a separate, any version of your Python you want, any version, so you can work. So, and it will not affect your local PC, it will not affect your settings, like your default settings of your system. You understand? So instead of, okay, for example, let's say you are working on a project. I really do not have to dwell much on this, but now let's say, for example, you are working on the project and you need Python 3.13, and on your system you have Python 3.17 installed. So and you need the package you need to let the project work needs Python 3.13, but you have Python 3.17, so it will not be compatible. So instead of going through the struggle of on installing the Python 3.17 and installing Python 3.13, and then for you to work, and then maybe later you now want to work on another project that needs the Python 3.17, you now have to uninstall Python 3.13 and install Python 3.17. So because of that, you can just create a virtual environment. So it's like specific for the project. So you can just download whatever thing you want to download. And if you want to work on another project, you create another virtual environment for the project. So it makes it possible for you to create different, different. Yes, of course, you can create an environment without Anaconda. Yes, Anaconda is just how do I put this now? Anaconda is just okay, for example, Anaconda is just like Jupyter Notebook. You understand? You can create a virtual environment with your command prompt. You can create it with your command prompt. You can create it with your command prompt. So let me just let me do something now. Let me do something now. Let me quickly create a virtual environment with my command prompt with you guys. So let me create. So I'm going to, I have, this is the first instance of Jupyter Notebook. I can take the first instance of Jupyter Notebook I have. So let me see if that's it. Okay, it's it. So I have this and then, so this for a project I'm working on. So I think I did this. So let me just create a new, let me come here. So let's quickly do that. So but let me quickly just do the process to create a virtual environment. Let me quickly run them through the process. So the first thing you need to do, the last time we talked about, so this is my command prompt. So if you can just, it's a simple thing, search for you to open your command prompt, come here, search for CMD or command prompt and open it. Or you press shortcut, you press Windows R. So if you press Windows R, this thing will pop up. It's actually popping up on my second screen. So that's why I have to drag it and then you press OK. But for me, since I have it opened already, so I will just come here. So the first thing you need to do, is you need to navigate to the place you want to create the virtual environment. I'm coming, I want to write the chat. I want to see the chat in case. Okay. So, in case there's any message. So now you need to navigate to where you want to do the environment. You need to navigate there. So let's now say I want to go to my desktop. You don't need to worry yourself with this. This is going to take us time, but all of this is just basic process. So I am inside my desktop now. Let's now say inside my desktop, I have a folder. Let me find one folder. So, okay, let me just quickly create a new folder in my this thing, CMD tutorial. So let me just put it like that. So now I am inside my desktop now, and I want to navigate inside the folder where my project is. So, if you want to create any project, you have to create a folder for it, right? So you just have to navigate to the folder where you want to work on your project with. So just a CD. I named this thing. Okay, let me do it like this. So dir. So I named this thing CMD tutorial. This is it. Can you see? Yeah, CMD tut. So I'll just come here and say CD, change directory. That's the meaning of CD. Change directory CMD tut. So I am inside that folder now. So inside that folder, there is nothing. Inside that folder, there is nothing. So there's nothing inside. Okay, you have an account, that's fine. But let me just quickly do this. Inside that folder, there is nothing inside it. So I just want to create a virtual environment. What you do is to say Python, then -m, then the virtual environment, and then the name. Now, this is saying that you want to create a virtual environment. And then what is going to come after will be the name you want to give the virtual environment. Let's say you want to give it or maybe the name of whatever the name of the project, but let's just say my environment. So just say enter. So it's going to run a bit. Okay, I think I have this kind of environment already. There's going to be a conflict, perhaps. You can't see my screen. Who else can't see my screen?
We can see
Who
your
else can see
screen.
my
We
screen,
can see your
please?
screen. We can see your screen.
Hello?
We can see. We can
You
see
can
your
see it.
screen. Oh, carry on.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. So now, okay, I think maybe the lettering is small. Okay, let me just increase the lettering. So now, and then what I want to do now is that after I have created my virtual environment, I want to activate the virtual environment. You are going to see something is going to change here. I want to activate the virtual environment. So I have to go to venv forward. Then I will now go to venv scripts. Then activate. So yes, you can use Google Colab. Anything you are comfortable with. We have people that use PyCharm to write their code. We have people that use VS Code to write their Python code. We have people that use Google Colab. We have people that use anything that's comfortable with you. And mind you, activate. And mind you, okay. Okay, sorry. Mind you, this thing does not recognize Anaconda. Anaconda is not a IDE. It's not a playground where you do your code. Now, let me just put it like this. Anaconda is the king of snakes, right? So, and then since you're working with Python, so Anaconda is just like the father. So inside Anaconda, you can open Visual Studio Code inside Anaconda. If you see it, if you have noticed very well, you know that. You can open Visual Studio Code in Anaconda. You can open PyCharm in Anaconda. You can open Slime in Anaconda. You can open Jupyter Notebook in Anaconda. You can open Jupyter Lab in Anaconda. So Anaconda is just a parent that all of these IDEs can walk through. You understand? So that's just, so now I have created my virtual environment using CMD. So I am inside the virtual environment now. See, can you see? And that is what activated it. So if you merely do this, and you did not activate it, you are not in the environment yet. You should understand, you are not in the environment yet. So if I say pip list now, so this pip list will show me the list of what I have installed, packages I have installed. So you see that nothing, just pip is installed. Now, but if I open a new this thing now I am outside the virtual environment here, right? So if I now say pip list, you see many packages that I have installed. Can you see? Whisper, Headup Tools, pip, NumPy, Markup, Ginger, all of Flask, Blinker. Can you see? So, and this one only has pip, but this one has different. And this is because in fact, I'm supposed to have many more than this, but because I have many virtual environment I am running. So, and they are different things. So that's all that about that. Let's not dwell too much on that. In fact, we have dwelled so much on that. So let me just go back to this thing. Let's go to the overview. Okay. I mean, introduction to Python. So let me just use, because I do not have anything prepared. So let's just do this. Let's do this. Let's use what we have here. And okay. Introduction to Python. Okay. Okay, let's work with Python variables and data types. Yes, I think this is I think that video only talked about history of Python, blah blah blah, just like that. So farm management code challenge. So let's see this. I've forgotten. What's about? Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this code challenge. Let's do this. So now, so I have created. Let me untitled PIPY. So we are going to be using the code challenge to just teach ourselves, and then so now the first thing in Python is simple operations, the Python variables, blah blah blah, and then so it says in this code we assist the farmer and calculate the total harvest from. So do not allow remove cells in this notebook. The code there. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. I think I have it safe. Okay, I don't have it. So let me go to downloads. Yeah. Can't see. Let's go to downloads. Farm management code. All right. So let's just do this. So now, so this code challenge here now, It says calculate the total harvest for the farmer, right? Okay, I think there's another chart. Okay, no chart. So it said calculate the total harvest for the farmer. So, and we have to go to ahead of our code there. So now this is actually simple. And okay, let me just quickly do something here. So there's one thing, we have data types in Python, we are going to get there. So we have data types in Python. Okay, let me go back. So total kilograms with harvest. What you just have to do here is very simple, very, very simple. So you just have to say, you copy this. We are not going to do that about here. So the total packages you just just copy this C and V plus this. This is going to give us the total packages. So let's just print it. Let's run it. 5650. So we know what this is basic. This is simple. Just add this one. This one is equals to 2050, and then this one is equal to 3600. So just do it. It's as simple as that. So now let me quickly talk about a variable here. Let me quickly talk about what we call by variable. Now we're entering what we are here to do. Let me quickly talk about variable. So variable is simply, how do I put this now? Come in. Okay. So variable is basically you put something in a box. Let's say you have, there are some people, our parents, we our parents. Our parents in our kitchen. So we have a container for gari. We have a container for beans. Okay, yeah, there are people that are not in Nigeria here. So we have a container for beans. We have a container for rice. We have a container for wheat. We have a container for cassava flour, gari. We have a container for all of these things. So and some people which they used to stock much in their house, which means that their container is not transparent. In school, our container used to be transparent, but in our house, we have, stock mulch. So maybe we use these paint rubbers that is not transparent. So which means that you cannot see what is inside until you open it. But when you want to go and pick Gary, you don't have to be opening all of this, except you know exactly, you know the shape, the color, maybe one don't break for neck, or maybe the color, you can recognize by color, but that's not what we are here for. So, but maybe all of them have the same distance. So you cannot recognize it. So what you do is you put a label. You label it. You put a label on the what's it called? You put a label on it for you to recognize it. So that is what happens. That is what happens when you use variable and value. So variable. Oh, I think there's a place. Setting up. I think let me go back. It's something I want us to look at, and it's a video. Sorry for me. I'm going to play this video. I quickly want to just
File Explorer on Windows. Now, the Jupyter environment executed the code cells for each question. We can set.
There's something I want to check. There's something we did. They did here concerning. I don't think I will even watch all this video, sir. There's this thing they did about variables, data types. Okay, I think it was in data type. Okay, but let's move on. So now variable equals to value. So inside our variable, we have a value. So which means that let me draw something here. So let's say this is our bucket. You understand? And inside it, we have many things inside it, right? We have, let me say this is bucket for wheat. Okay, we change the color. So we have another one, which is maybe we have our semo inside, for example, right? So which means that this is wheat. This is width, and this is semo, and this is semo, right? So now, basically, what is happening here is that this is width and this is semo. Now, what is happening here is that inside this container here, inside this container, we have our width, and inside this one, we have our semo. But if we do not put a label on it, we can't know. So, and that's what we are doing here. So here, this value is the width that is inside it, and this variable is the container. So that's, you should just see it like that. So we are putting it inside it so that we can easily, and this is just memory, this thing for memory and optimization, so that it can easily process. So instead of you, because you can, instead of you to be calling 1 every time, or you want to copy, you want to save, it's like you saving something, or maybe like a memory card. You are now saving something inside the memory card. Just see it like that. So that is the difference between a variable and a value. And that is what happened here. So, and we have, in data types, we have string, and we have been told that strings we cannot perform mathematical operations on strings, which means that you cannot add a string to another string. It is different from concatenation, but this one you cannot perform mathematical operation on strings. And that is what happened here. So, and this is the reason why I'm trying to just explain this. So here now, whenever you see this container, you are not actually seeing the container, you are seeing what width. So which means that the Python does not recognize total kgs, blah, all this one, concern Python. What Python recognizes is this guy here. That is what Python recognizes. So when you now add, you are not actually adding this. It is not a string anymore. And that is why you are not using this thing. Is it parentheses? They call it apostrophes on it. You are not using apostrophe double or single on it because it is not a string. It is what? It is a variable. So, and the reason we call it variable is because it can change, it can vary. So that's just that about that. Clear all drawings. So before I move on, is there any question on that? Variable are similar to cells. Yes, exactly. Variable are similar to cells. So thank you, Mr. Musa. Thank you very much. And Unlanla Lageo, sorry if I didn't pronounce your name well. So it's just as simple as that. So that's why we can easily, add this without it giving us an error. So, but let's try something. So let's now say, okay, string 1 equals to this. Let me just, I don't want to assume that we all understand. So let me just make this string 2 equals to, although we are still going to get here. So let me now perform a mathematical operations on this now. Let me now say string 1. This string 1, okay, let me add it first. String 2. Let me put it like this. Sum total. It has become a concatenation. Let me put it like this. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. I'm not supposed to store it inside a variable. It has become the same thing. Plus see? Okay. Sum total. I'm supposed to try an error. But it is actually concatenating it. I'm actually expecting an error. Can someone give me an example of how I can just give an example of how I can perform a mathematical operation with it? It's actually concatenating it. So, but what is happening here is concatenation. It's actually concatenation. There is no space there. it added it together and give us a string. And now when we now print the type, and we look for you see that it's a string. Type print. Okay, thank you. No. Is it going to be the same thing? It's going to be the same thing. Let me just try it. But it's going to give us the same thing. Go to put in print cast. Okay. Changing the data type. No. I'm expecting an error anyways, but I've forgotten how to perform mathematical operations on strings. But then I think it's just the latest update. Before Python will give you error anyways. But so let's just move on. Let's just move on. No, typecasting is definitely going to give us error, but we don't need that. So let's move on. So it says calculate the total expense in dollar and print the result. So the seat expense is this. So total expense is blah, blah, blah. We do the same thing and print it here. We know what is going to happen, but let's just do it. Control V. Control C. So, and then you print this labor expense. Just as simple as that. 3,720. That's our answer. So, expected output. Okay, this is supposed to be our expected output. So, what we are going to do is we're actually going to use, I like using an F string, but we'll get there anyways. Get there. I like using an F string. So it will now give us total expenses in dollars. So if we run it here, it should run. Okay, sorry. So total expenses, sorry, error. So total expenses in dollars 3,000. So this was supposed to be our output. So, and that was our output. So now challenge 3. Yeah. So calculate the revenue in dollars and print the results. And it says revenue in dollars, total revenue, price per kg, price per kilogram potato. So it should be 9,000. Total revenue. What's going to be our this thing? So if you calculate the total revenue, what's the calculation supposed to be? So total revenue means what? Total revenue means 2 price per kg of what? Of wheat, right? So, and then this is total kgs of wheat, right? Which is 2,050, right? I hope I still sabi math. So calculate total revenue, price per kg. So it says total kilograms of wheat harvest, right? And total kilograms of potato harvest. So total harvest in kilograms. So now it says, so it will be 2 times, sorry, 2 times this, right? Plus 1.4 times this. Hope I still sabi math. 1.4 times this. So we have to put it in brackets. I have to put it in brackets. I hope I'm on track. So I have to put it in brackets, and then now say just copy this. Ṣé ẹ wá agolo kan ló fẹ́ ṣe ni? Bá ṣe wà ó ṣe. So a string, and you see, let's see, it's going to be correct. Good, it was correct. So is the total revenue in dollars? So 9,140. So take the variables and multiply them directly. Oh, that's true. I could have just taken this, blah, blah, blah. And that's what the variables are for. So sorry for that. I'm supposed to just say this, which is 2, right? Times this. That's actually what the variables are for. That's it. That's the cocoa of. That's the point of creating a variable times this. So Control V, we're still going to have the same answer. So let's just play. Still have the same answer. No error. So, and then challenge 4 is calculate the total profit in dollars. Okay, total profit is expenses. So we just have to say, so total profit in dollar. So the expenses, total expense, we have calculated the total expense, right? Total expense in dollar to be this, right? Profit is what? What is the formula for profit? Profit equals to print. So total profit, what's the formula for profit is cost price minus selling price, right? Selling price minus cost price. So what is the total revenue? Total revenue is what we have it here. Total revenue is C. This one minus what? Minus the total expense V. So this is supposed to give us this, and then F string, and then it's going to total brackets. So let's see if it is correct. 5420. So we are correct. Yeah, I've done that. Revenue minus expense, yeah. So that is our listing. If you have any question, please go to the Q&A like they have suggested. Yeah, what's our next thing? Why is it being used? Okay. So we are going to get there. We are going to get there. So I've seen the question in the Q&A. Print is like console log. You know, in print is like how do I put this now? Telling the computer to print something out for you. See, it's just like in the word. Okay, we'll talk about that. I'm going to get to the F string. So now that about this thing. So about the F string, let me quickly, because since we are here, I don't want to put it to any other place. So since we are here, there's another kind of string people used to use. So now, instead of, for example, this F string here now, this F string now. Now, this is a string. Instead of me, let me put it here. Let me use this. Now, I can let me show you the local way that I'm supposed to write this. It will be this. It will be total profit in dollars. Right? Can you see that the color has changed? Total profit in dollars that space. Let me add the space here. I will now say put total. Let me just copy it. Total profit. So there must be a concatenation added. So this is what error. Call it concatenate string, not float. Can you see what's happening here? But let's remove the concatenation. Let's remove it. Let's see. Now, comma. Thank you. Comma is supposed to be. Yeah. Can you see? So now there's other way aside f string. Aside f string, there's other way, and so aside f string, so you can write it like this. I use f string like from the very beginning. I use f string. So now there's another way that is very, very people used to use. I've seen one of the developers using it, and which is the guy you have to put it like this. You put I've forgotten how. You put something like this. I'm coming something like let's say string equals to string 1 equals to I don't want to really want to dwell on this, but then that's why we are here. Let me say, so let's say my name is sorry, 0 and I am 1 years old. So before now, I will have determined some variables. My name equals to day, and then age equals to 15, 13. So you now did dot format. You now put the name and age there. So now, if you now print, these are ways, I've seen people writing it like this. It's just preference. You now print str1. So can you see, my name is Dave and I'm 13 years old. Can you see how it's input it? So unlike my friend says in the chat, he said that F means format. So instead of writing it like this, you can write it like this. You can write it like this. You understand? But what the F string does is that it formats it and say, okay, just automatically, anywhere, if there is nothing like this, let me just, this is going to throw us an error. Okay, but because it has run before, if I close my kernel, if I restart my kernel, it's going to give us problem. But I don't want to restart. If I restart my kernel, it's going to clear this thing, the cache, everything saved. So it will not be, but this one has been saved inside memory already. That's why it is still printing. You understand? This one is saved inside memory. But let me just okay, let me put it like this. Let me just remove the S. Just remove the S. Let's see. It's going to work. It's still working. But because that's saved. So, but then, okay, let me just restart my kernel. Let me restart my kernel. So now, since I restart my kernel, I will have to run the code again. I have to just run from the beginning. Total profit, yeah. Oh God, I did not. Let me just, so let me start the kernel and I'm to select it still. So it's going to run, it's running automatically. Can you see that it's giving us error? It said name total fit is not defined. Can you see this is what I'm expecting? And the reason is because this total profit is not there. The variable is not saved. And this F string is saying that just pick these variables anywhere. So, but if I do it again, it's supposed to do automatically, but it's going to do, so I have to restart my kernel again. I don't know to select a cell. So now I hope you're clear on that. Question. So I have saved it. I have talked about the F string. Please, can you kindly mention what you're referring to instead of using this and that? Can you kindly mention what you're referring to instead of using this and that? I don't understand the question. It should stick more if you can always call them out with their names. Okay. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. I think I understand. Thank you. Okay. Answer now. Oh yeah, talk. If you want to answer it, answer. So thank you. I think that's an observation. That's not a question. So now total profit dollars here. I commented it. What I did was I commented it so that it will not be able to run. But now let me uncomment it so that, and now if I run it now, it's still giving us error. Let me just restart my panels. So let me run the code again. So it has run. So now I think we're done with that. So what I'm just saying is this print total profit in dollars. You can write it like this. And but S string, personally, I used to write it like this S string because it's more easier for me. So it's just preference, people's preference. So that's what about that. We've done that. Python variables. Now let's go to the real deal. So now, I'm sorry, I'm not much of a teacher, so just bear with me. So now it says we're just going to learn together. Okay, I think this was what I was looking for. Thank God. So it says Python is globally a very popular programming language used across free software, this and that, as an introduction to concept, we delve into variables. So let's talk about variables. You say variable is a name storage location used to store data in a program. It is a way to give a name to memory location. Can you see what we're saying? Make it easier to reference and manipulate the data. Variables are used in various programming tasks such as calculation, storage, and manipulation of data. Assigning a variable. So you assign a variable, a value to a variable, refer to the presence of associating a variable with a symbolic name. Now, what you're saying is that you must use a variable name that is so associated with what you are storing inside it. For example, imagine that you are they're putting perfume. They put, or for example, they are storing insecticide inside a perfume bottle. So, I'm still following the train of thought I was talking about. So you putting insecticide inside the perfume bottle. So you can just come to the perfume bottle and think it's a perfume that is inside, and you just spray it. Meanwhile, it's an insecticide and it's going to cause harm. So that's why you must use something, and you must use something that's very simple that you can easily remember, because programmers will work with like very, very large numbers of code, and you have many, many variables. So something you can easily remember, something that is so associated with what you want to save inside it. So that's what it means by a symbolic name, so that the program can refer to and manipulate that data using the given name. It is essentially storing a piece of data in memory location, can you see, and giving it a label for convenient reference. In fact, that's exactly what I said. So assign a variable, we need three components: the variable name, the assign operator, and the value. So this is it. This is the variable name, this is the assignment operator, and then what? The value you are assigning into the variable. So now we talked about this. Let me download it. I don't think I downloaded it. So let me what's the name? What's the name of the Python variables and data types again? Python. Okay, yeah. So we talk about variables, data types, and data structures. Those are the things we are going to talk about. So now, and we've actually talked about this, blah, blah, blah. X equals to 5, print X is actually going to print what? 5, because it is 5 that is stored inside it. You understand? So, and then another way to assign this thing is A, B, C. Now, it's saying that A is assigned to 10.5, B is assigned to 12, C is assigned to 14. So, another way you can do this is you can say A equals to 10.5, B equals to 12, and C equals to what? 14. So instead of writing this on the 3 lines, you can just write it like this. This and this is the same thing. So print A, print B, print C is going to print 10.5, 12, and 14. 10.5, 12, and 14. So it's also possible to assign a variable to a previously defined variable. So, which means that you can assign a variable to another variable. So it's saying that, so this is the initial variable, right? 8. So you don't want to assign this variable inside here. So you are now assigning initial variable. So if you call even number, what is going to be printed out? 8. Why? Because as you call even number, this one will be called, and this one will call this. And since this one has nothing else to call, it will just return. That's it. So I don't think, okay, there's no question. So even though we directly assign 8 to even number, we are still able to assign, we are still able to do by assigning even up to previous defined variable. So reassigning a variable, you can reassign a variable, which means that you can assign a variable, which means you can, okay, for example, and now there's one thing about Python, which we have gotten there now. So you know we have said X equals to 5 here, right? Now, and then let's not print it now. It printed 5, and then it printed 13. Now, if you run it again, okay, yeah, it was even saying, it said, now rerun the code above. Yeah, I remember this. Rerun the code above, and then what? You will see that what is going to be printed will now be 13 and 13. Now, see. And the reason why this happened like this is because now Python runs from up to down, which means that, so if I come here now and say y equals to 20, prints y. So now what Python is going to run? Python is going to run this first. They run this. That is why you see that I have to, when I restarted my kernel, I have to go and be running from up. So it will run this first. It will first run this, then run this, then run this, then run this, and then run this. That's how it's going to run it. So it's going to print 20, it printed 13, and it printed 13. So now, but before, it's printed 5 and 13, right? So it's printed 5 and 13, right? Let me now go and rerun this thing that is here, this 5 that is here. Let me rerun it, okay? Let me rerun it now, and then let's now rerun this. Can you see that it has changed to 5? So what happened here is that it saved x equals to 5. And then now it saved it inside the memory. And you come back and say print x, it's going to print the 5. You now say x equals to 13. So x has now changed to 13. So if you now call x again, it's not going to be 5 again. It is going to be what? 13. Until you go back. So it happens, the application is just maybe you want to change the values of a variable, you want to change it, or you want to, maybe you are working on a conditional statement. So if this is going to this, change it into this. So you now want to change the value if something happens. You understand? Maybe you want to update something, you want to change it, or for example, in increment, you want to increase the value if anything happens. When you get to all those things, you are going to understand what I'm saying. So basically what happened here is that now, because we have, if I take it, run this one again now, x is now going to be 13. Why? Because this is now what is now saved. Yeah, unless I go back up and run down one before it now change to 5. You understand? So I hope that's clear. That's clear enough. So now assign the value 13 to y, print memory address of x and y. Now, when we talk about memory address is let me explain this memory address very simply for us, because like I said, we are talking about the foundation. Let me talk about the memory address. So, let's say you have boxes like a shelf in your kitchen. Let's go back to kitchen. In your kitchen, you have shelves in your kitchen, and then inside in the shelves, we have where you put plates. You understand? You have where you put plates, you have where you put spoons, you have where you put your cutleries, you have where you put maybe your seasonings. There's a cupboard designated for seasonings, there's a cupboard designated for cups, there's a cupboard designated for whatever other things. So that's what happens with memory address. So now there are some people that actually used to work with memory address anyways. So now, you will see that this thing has the same memory address. And the reason is because 13 and 13 is assigned to both of them. That's why they have the same memory address. So if I go back up and change this one to 5, sorry, if I go back up and change it to 5, and I just did not print this, and then this one is 5 AB, and then I change print the memory address. Can you see that it has been changed? Of x has been changed. Why? Because I changed the value to 5 and not 13 anymore. So they have the same memory address because they have the same value stored in them. You understand? So if you update 5 to 5, you see now we have a new. This of course because we are storing the values in memory rather than maintaining the original variable associations to that address. So what the memory you are storing inside, and this happens with I think I'm dwelling too much on things I'm not going to dwell on. But then, so this happens, for example, in your memory. I just want to digress a little bit. So when things are saved in our memory, in your memory card, there is a certain allocation where the memory is inside. So when you now delete, now this is an hack, this is a tech hack I want to give you guys. So when you delete something on your phone, actually the thing is not deleted because logically speaking, where is it going to go? If you remove something from your phone, where is it going to go? Is it going to evaporate out from your phone? No, you are not actually deleting. So that's why be careful of the kind of thing that's going to allow on your phone, because somehow, that's why you see some phones, even though their memory is memory is empty, there's nothing there, it will still be lagging. So now, but that's not about that. So what actually happens is that there is somewhere it is stored. So when you not delete it from your phone, it is not actually deleted, it will be overwritten. You are going to overwrite it. It's not going to tell you that, okay, something is there before, but something is not there again. You understand? So that's the idea behind this memory address. So actually, that's why you see that it is not going to go back to, after, we have changed it before, it changed the memory address. What actually changed is the memory address. You understand? So not that X was actually deleted, so to say. So when you delete something from your phone, it was not actually deleted, but it will be overwritten, or maybe you replace. You understand? It is going to be what? It's going to be overwritten. It's going to overwrite it. Another thing is going to come upon it. So it will be like it is not there, but it is there, but you will not see it. You understand? So that is what happened. That's the idea behind memory address. So when you pick a cup from your cupboard, from the section where you want to keep the cup, there are many cups there. There are many kind of cups there, but they are cups. You understand? So that is the word memory address, which means that you have labeled the what's it called? You have labeled the shelf as cup. So any kind of cup, anything that looks like cup can go inside there. You understand? So, and then likewise in your room, where there are some things where they have their place and the rest like that, blah blah blah. I don't know, guys. Are you guys with me? I don't know if you're following. I don't know if I'm too fast. I don't know if I'm okay. The purpose of working it out is how do I put this now? So the memory address is to tell you like allocation. Like there is an address that has been allocated for it. So even though you change the value, what actually changed in the value of y is the allocation. Where it is allocation. Okay, thank you. You said I should slow down a bit. All right, so let me put it simply. I'm coming. Let me draw something. Oof. Let me try to draw something here. Shapes. Are there shapes? There's no shapes. Okay, there's shape. All right, so let's say this is a shelf. Let me change the color. This is another shelf. This is another shelf. This is another shelf. And this is another shelf. So now inside this shelf.
Mr. David.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Please, I've just dropped a feedback form on this chat, right? Please, we should do well to fill the feedback form, right? While you are still on the section, do well to feedback and let us get your feedback on the section so far, and also the improvement regarding the section to make it much more easier for us, right? Please, you can create every day 5 minutes or 3 minutes break and fill the feedback section. And then Mr. David will be handing over the host to you. So the recording is in your hand, right? And then when you're done, you just download it from the cloud and send it so we can give it out to people.
Where you they go?
My system don't run low. My system is no battery and there's no this in here. That's fine. So please do want to see the feedback form, please. Thank you.
Seasonings. What else? Okay, let's just do with that. That's enough. Let's just do with this. Let me all right, so let's do with those three. So inside this place now, we have the spoon, we have the cups, and we have the seasonings. So now let's look at the variable x as the cup, right? And let's look at variable y, x as spoons, variable y as cups, and let me say variable t, maybe z as what? As seasoning, right? So now memory, like I said, when you save something on your computer, when you maybe for example a music file, you collect it on your phone, there's going to be a memory address, which means there's going to be an address given to that memory. So it will be easy. So okay, let me put it like this. What the computer understand, like I said, the computer, this is another version of what I was saying the other time. The computer does not understand ABC or your word, does not understand your language, does not understand English. You understand? But what the computer understands is ones and zeros. That's the language computer understands. Likewise, the computer does not know that there is a music called Ayefele or whatever, maybe Mobad on your phone. What it will recognize is the memory address allocated to it. So when the computer, when So when you now check, when you are now looking for something, when you're looking for anything on your phone, the computer will be easy. The first thing the computer is going to do is that it's going to go straight to the memory address. It's the memory address that the computer is going to use to what? To maybe look for your this thing or the rest. You understand? So for example, maybe you are in your room and you tell your child, hey, Junior, go to the kitchen and go and pick, let's say your child is the computer. So is the memory, your child is the brain of the computer. And then you as the keyboard, or maybe as a mouse, now tell the keyboard, go and take spoon for me. What it's going to do is going to go for the what? It's going to go straight to where the section of spoons. That is what we call by memory address. It's just about memory allocation. And we really do not have to dwell on this, but you just have to understand this concept and then it will make it easier for you. So it will go straight to where? To the spoon section and pick the spoons. So the computer will not have to be looking for everywhere because the computer has given it an address. And they just go straight to where spoons are and pick any spoons there. You understand? Let's now say in the spoon section, we now have where you have a container where you put plastic spoons and maybe wooden spoons and maybe where you put iron spoons. So you know, oh, go and give me a wooden spoon. If you go inside the spoon section and go to the what? To the maybe wooden subsection, and then it will pick it there. So this memory address thing is just about memory allocation and you know how the computer works with it, what the computer understands. You understand? And that's why I'm using you saving something on your phone or your system as an example. So you really do not even need to dwell too much on that. Okay, makes sense. Good, thank you. So I can move on now. So thank you very much. So I think we're clear on that, right? So let's move on. So initial variable, it's allocated and we are back in memory address. So it says the memory address, and that's why since they have the same number allocated to X and Y, they definitely have to have the same memory address because 13 and 13 is the same. So they have to be in the same address. You understand? So that's just that about that. So if you now print the memory address, so if you now say X, you see, this is what I actually try to do. If you now print it, you see that the memory address has changed. So memory allocation and memory pointer. Oh, in fact, this is actually what I was trying to explain. So this is a pointer. Introducing pointer is even going to make it more how do I put this now? Make it more complex. So the memory pointer is like an address label for the allocated memory space. It points to the exact location in the computer's memory. Can you see now where the variables data is stored? This pointer allows the program to efficiently access and retrieve the stored information when needed. For example, when the variable x is equal to 5, Python allocates a specific memory space to store this integer value. This memory pointer associated with this then points to the starting address of this allocated memory, facilitating easy retrieval and manipulation of data storage, the stored data during the program's execution. So these are the things, these are just the like inner workings of the Python. You understand? This thing has just been made simpler for us. Share your grab. So now rule. Now this is very, very essential. So there are some variables you can save, and if you have read this thing, I really do not need this. I don't really think there's a reason to go over this again. There are some ways you can, there are some variables you can use and the variable you can use. For example, if you come here now, if I use list, can you see it gives us green? If I now say list equals to list, I now say print list. So is it okay? Let me use true something. Yeah. Can you see it's going to give us an error? Cannot assign to true because there are some variables that you cannot use. But if you can just use something like true 1, then it has changed. You now say print true 1. It's going to what? It's going to print it. So there are some variables you can use, the variables you can use. So must start with a letter underscore. So So inside rule of variable naming, so it says must start with a letter or underscore. So you cannot start a variable with what? With true. And only allowed to contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. So which means that you cannot name a something, for example, like true at and say print true at. It's going to throw an error, invalid syntax. And so what it's saying is that the only character that is allowed is underscore. Is underscore. That's the only character that is what? That's the only character that is what? That is allowed. Only allowed to contain alphanumeric character and underscores. Anything else is not accepted. Variables names are case sensitive. So can you see now? My var is different from what? Capital M, Y, V, L. So it's case sensitive. So which means that true, which means that string equals to sample. String equals to sample. Sample is not the same thing as string equals to sample. Can you see? So if you now print, if you print string sample, well, let me just put it like this. One. So we just be simple English anyways. So it is case type. Now we have Pascal case, we have camel case, and we have snake case. So these are just ways people prefer, like the F format and string formatting. This one, people chose different kind of case formatting too. So me, personally, I used to use this one. This my var. Personally, I used to use this or this. In some cases, I used to use this. But most especially, I use this. So, but this is the most common snake case because it's related to Python anyways. So Pascal case is like this. Every first letter is what is capitalized. And this one is the first word is not capitalized, but the other one is what? Capitalized, camel case. But snake cases, everything is going to be what? Lower case, but then it's going to be differentiated with what? Underscore. So, and then starting you can, this is accepted, underscore my var, which is what? Pascal casing, underscore Pascal casing. And then, so for example, this is not allowed. Number two, if you run this now, it's going to give you an error, invalid decimal literal. Can you see? It's going to give you. So we have data type. We have integers. Integers means number. Floats means decimals. Complex number means your J notation, your this thing, blah blah blah. Yeah, your J notation. Yeah, I actually got it. Your J notation formula. Your people that does a MATLAB, you understand. If you know MATLAB, you understand this. So, and then we have strings, which is actually alphabet, and then booleans, which is true or false, conditions. It's either true or false. So numbers, three main data types exist to store numerical data. So integers, floats, and complex numbers. All these three integers ranges from 5 to positive, either positive or negative integer. I believe we should all know what that means. And then floats is decimal. If it's decimal, it's float. And then this complex number in the form where J, B number, then strings is a sequence of character including quotes. So string is not actually, let me correct that. String is not actually alphabet, like words, sentences, but anything enclosed in quotes. So which means that if you enclose num string, let me say this as num string, which means that if you enclose 1, 2, 3 in a string, if you enclose it, it's going to become a string. You understand? So, and I think it was said. So immutable, once a string is defined, something immutability means that it cannot be changed. Its content cannot be changed. Any operation that appears to modify a string actually creates a new string. You get that? So when you want to modify a string, it's not actually being modified. You're actually creating a new string. And the other one is what is discarded in a way, but if you still call back to that one, it is still there, like it is still stored in the memory. Can you see what we're talking about now? Back to the memory address. It is actually still stored. You can access it, but so another one you have in a way overwritten it, but you can still have access to it. You grab. So that's so he said original string is hello. So this is concatenation. It modifies string, this and this. So hello, which is original string, the modified string is hello Python. The guy that asked the question, can you see here now? You see how this person decided to write it, but you can still use a string. So now booleans is operations, just comparison and logical operators. This is a comparison operators, which is equal to, like explicitly equals to. And then this is not equals to. We have done all of this in our SQL, and this one less than, greater than, less than, or greater than. So I believe we should all know that. So, and then logical operator. Remember, we have comparison operator, and then we have logical operators. So logical operators is and, or, not. If you know physics, we call it logic gates, a logic this thing. So these Boolean operators will either be true or false. It cannot be true and false. So 5 below has some comparison operator. 5 less than 3 is what is true. Is false. This is false. Sorry, false. 5 greater than 3 is true. 1 plus 1 equals to 2 is what is true. Now I want you to get something here. There's a difference between assignment operator equals to is an assignment operator, while is equal, this one is a what? Comparison operator. They are different, they are not the same. This one assigns a value to a variable. This one assigns a value to a variable, but this one compares two variables, two elements, or two data types, or two anything. You understand? So please, there's no one that is moderating for me. So if you have any question, just let me know. And can you guys hear me? Are you with me, guys? Okay, good. So very good, very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So this is an assignment operator, and this is a comparison operator. So it's two different things. Don't mix it. So this is a comparison. This one is saying that 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So if you put equal to 2, yeah, you are actually assigning 2 to 1 plus 1. This should throw you an error. Cannot assign to expression here. Maybe you meant equals to. Can you see now? So, but here now, it's saying that this is going to give us what? A true or false value. Can you see? True, because 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So apples, can you see now this one now? Can you see? Apples is equals to orange. This is going to give us false because it is not. Then this one is what? Negation. We call it negation. This negation value is going to give us problem in the future. It's going to give us problem. But then when we get to the bridge, you know how to cross it. So not 1 plus 1 equals to 2, which means that this one has negated the value. It's telling you that negate whatever thing that comes from here, negate it. You understand? And this one, 1 plus 1 not equals to 2 is going to give us what? It's going to give you false. Why? Because 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So apples not equals to orange. This is going to give us true. Because apples is not equals to what? Orange. Now, can you see the and there now? It said 4 greater than 2 and 3 greater than 5. Now, let me explain this. But I think they explained it downwards. But let me just explain it. So 4 greater than 2 and 3 greater than 5. So it's saying that if this is going to return and statement, returns true. Returns true. If both conditions are true. If both conditions are true, that's when it's going to what? It's going to return true. If both conditions are not true, it's going to what? Return false. So for example, here now, 4 greater than 2. Let me ask a question now. Of the brackets. Curly bracket. AA. Okay. I'm still going to go back to strings, but let me just quickly explain this. So instead, 4 greater than 2 and 3 greater than 5. So 4 greater than, is 4 greater than 2? Yes, true. And 3 greater than what? 5 is what? Is false. So this is going to give us what? False. False. So true and true. So what is this one said? Actually saying is that if this one is true and this one is true, it will give us true. If true and true, true. If true and false, false. If true and false, false. If false and true, false. If false and false, false. Now, you now say 4 greater than 2, or, now we have gotten to or. This one is going to return true. Returns true. Returns true if one of the conditions is true. So if one of the conditions, so 4 greater than 2 or 3 greater than 5. So one of these conditions is true because this one is true, right? So it is going to return true. True or true? True. True or false is going to give us true. False or true is going to give us true. False or false is going to give us what? False. So instead I go back to the string. So if you have any question on that, please let me know before we move on. So the string, you said I use a curly bracket. Curly bracket. Where? Is this strings? Yeah, this is strings. Nash, is this what you're talking about? Okay. Curly bracket, curved bracket. This. Okay. Now this is what you're talking about, right? So now what I was saying the other time is actually what we're doing here. So now we can write this modified string. We can write it like this. We can write it like equals to F. And this is using F string. F original, original string, right? Then Python, comma, Python. Now, you see what we did here? What we did here, and what is happening here, what is happening here is the same thing. This and this is the same thing. It's just the mode by which it was written. So if I come here now and comment this, so, and I run it, can you see that it gives us the same? Okay, let me do it like this. Let me run it in another cell, X, because maybe perhaps it has been saved. You understand? So let me run this. If you run this now, it's going to give us only hello. Oh, it has been saved. Okay. Let me open another this thing. Let me open so that it has been. The reason why I'm opening another cell is because it has been saved in memory, and I do not want to restart my kernel. So that's one problem about Jupyter Notebook. So, oh, sorry, made a mistake. Let me fuck up. Yeah, hello. I don't know this. So hello, right? It printed only hello, and this one is going to print hello Python. Oh, sorry. Print modify. What is it? Print. See. Can you see? So it's the same thing. Okay, you won't understand. Thank you. So on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. I think casting variables to different data types. So this is going to. We have talked about mathematical operators, so we can skip this and string manipulation. So let's just talk about string manipulation. Let's talk about casting and then go to string manipulation. I'll just do it. I'm not going to work on it. I'll just use my own example from my head and use it so that for us to casting variables. Okay. Okay, I've actually done this. So, so so it says allow casting variable to data types. So we have many data types, and sometimes we might want to change the data type. You know, it's so there's a way we can confirm the kind of data type we want to use, which is introduction. Casting variables to the data types is fundamental concept in programming that involves transforming a variable from one data type to another. Simple. We call it typecasting or casting. Blah. Let's just put a full stop there. So now there is a way for us to know the type of variable we are talking about. So, and this is the syntax to check. So it says this one is string. This one is what? This one is integer. This is string. And this is what? This is float, right? So we have known this data type. This is the kind of data type that is there, right? Now, inside, there are many this thing is specifying, converting, and casting data type. All of them are the same thing. But specifying data type is dynamically typed language, meaning that it does not require predefined data type for any variable, as it is interpreted by the machine itself at runtime. So what this one means that the machine by itself will specify the kind of data that it is. You understand? That's what it means. It will be interpreted by the machine itself. So it says integer variable int. So float this. You want to, which means that you are turning this into float, and then string variable, you are turning this string, this value into what? Into string. So, and there's another way you can write this, very simple. If you know what you are doing, you can just say int var is what? Is equals to 3.14. So now this cannot be integer because originally it is supposed to be a float, right? So that's why you have to what now? Put it inside an integer value. So now this is what is going to happen. Let me delete let me delete it, and then I now say, let me just put my own type of int var. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So, but I'm going to explain anyways. So now you see what is going on here. This one is supposed to be float. Now it says, oh, the reason why is because it has been saved before. Let me copy it, go to, yeah, go here. You see that it's going to change. Okay, the same. Right. I'm expecting, this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this to be float. Expecting this to be float. This is supposed to be float. It is supposed to be float. Supposed to give me float. Okay, the tuple. Sorry. My bad. Come in. Sorry. Supposed to be float, not string, not integer. But let's just move on. So now what this does is all right. What I actually want to make out there is that this is supposed to be float originally, but because this is int now, that's turned into int, and look at this now, this is supposed to be a string value. For example, let me do something. String 1 equals to 42.42, right? And then type str1, we print it. So let me print it. Okay, this is 42 class string. Now, can you see it? I changed the class to string. So now this is originally supposed to be a string, but now it is what? It has become a float because of what we did there. That's what specifying does. You are specifying it specifically. You are telling the computer specifically, this is what I want you to be. This is what I want you to be. Although it might look like this, but this is what I want you to be. That's, by the way, converting data type. That is specifying, and then now converting. Is actually converting and specifying looks like very, very similar. So it does say converting data type is the process of changing a variable's type from one to another, normally performed like, okay, this one is the one that is defined by the computer. Sorry, I made a mistake there. Specifying, you have to change it by yourself, but converting is specified, like it is going to be defined by the computer by itself, by the compiler. Can you see? I mistook it for each other there. So, and that's why I was doing very wrong thing there. So it said integer 1, 5, integer 2, 10. Answer, integer divided by integer. So if you print the kind of data type from this one, the computer by itself specified the kind of data type this answer is going to be. You understand? Although we know that 10 is an integer, 5 is an integer, but we have performed the calculation here, which is going to give us 0. What? 0.5. Abi, integer 2 divided by integer 1 is going to give us 0. What? 0. I don't know, forgot it. So now, well, let's do it. 2.0, okay? 10 divided by 5 will give us 2.0. So it gives us float. 2.0, it gives us float. As what? As data type. So, but you might want to change this float to integer. You understand? You want to change this float to integer. What do? You can just do it in the way. You can do it like this. You can do it like this. Oh. You can do it like this, and then, just go and set int. So now, if you run it now, it has changed to int. It's like that changed from 2.0 to 2. So that is specifying. This is we specifying. So we have actually specified it here, but that's not what we're supposed to do. So let me just revert back and run it again, 2.0 float. So implicit data conversion generally does not result in data loss, unlike casting. So casting, there's going to be a data loss. But for example, if the answer are giving us 2.1 here, if you are giving us 2.1 instead of 2.0, and I casted it to integer, it's going to give us 2.0. It's going to turn it to 2.0, 2, not 2.0, 2. And then we are going to lose that data, 0.1. And that 0.1, as a data analyst, it can cause problem. So casting data type, so we have specified, we have converted our casting. Casting data type Casting data type is similar to converting, but implies a more explicit or forceful change in type, normally actioned by the user. So this is where now casting it out. Okay, this is what we want it to be. For example, 42 normal is supposed to be integer now, right? So we now want to change it to float. So it gives us 42.0, right? Can you see here? And then integer, this is supposed to be float now, normal, right? But we now want to change it to integer. Now, this is what I was saying the other time. So, like I said, I was saying that if this are giving us 2.1, it's going to raise the 1 and give us 2. So, likewise, you can see 3.14. It removed the 1.4 and gave us 3, but turns it to what? Integer. You understand? Everything has its own use. So, you just, there's where and when you're supposed to use this. Sorry. So, conversion from floating point string to an integer is not straightforward, which means that you cannot convert from string directly to integer. No, it's not possible. You have to convert to float first. Can you see that's what is happening here? It was converted to float first, then to integer. So, and that's why there's an error here. And it's saying the value error occurs because int function in Python is designed to only convert strings, not represent integer, not floating point numbers. So therefore, if you want to convert string to an integer, we first convert it to a float, then to what? To an integer. So that's why we cannot do it like this. So print integer, blah, 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 to now give it this. So now examples, now we've covered the theoretical aspect. Let's reinforce our knowledge with additional examples. So now it said performing the cast variable A and variable B. Variable A 5.67, variable B 1.123. This is supposed to be a string, and this is supposed to be a float. So float, blah, integer. Now this is a string, but it's supposed to be an integer. So now result equals to variable A plus variable B. So what is going to do is it add this one plus this, right? Why? Because we have converted it to what? To integer. So it will do the addition for us, right? So perform a casting on mixed variable to obtain a float and an integer version. Print post statement along with the other data types. So now, I think I wrote this thing by myself. I think it's supposed to be like this, but then now mixed variable is a string, but it's supposed to be what? A float, right? If I'm moving too fast, please let me know. Now, this is supposed to be a string, but what? But it's supposed to be a float, but a decimal, but it's what? Is a string. So you have to convert it to what? To a float version. So and then the integer version. So now we have the float and the what? And the integer version. So we have 42 that is what? That is an integer, and we have 42 that what? That is float. Can you see? It's just simple. These are just basic petty things. So consider a scenario where we have a variable total amount as a plate representing a monetary value. How would you ensure that this amount is represented as an integer value is sent without losing precision? So now what you have to do here is that now what is basically happening here is that we have this certain amount, right? And then it is as a float. Basically, this is a float if you put the type. But we want to represent it as what? As an integer. But we don't want to lose this value, right? So what we have to do is that first, look at the question. He said consider a scenario where we have a variable amount as a float representing monetary value. How would we ensure that this amount is represented as an integer without integer value in cents? In cents, so we have to what we just have to do is basically convert it to what? To cents without losing precision. So to convert this one to cents, what? Multiply by 100, right? 100 cents in what? In 1 naira. So in $1, in $1 USD. So we now have 4,256 cents, right? So we are not losing the value, right? So this is just to show us the application of these things, the application and then the implication. So this is summary, the ability to cast variable. Now, that's at the back. Now I'm saying that we are going to do string manipulation, data types and operators. Now we have done these data types and operators, addition and subtraction. So introduction to strings now, string manipulation. This is just because I didn't prepare anything to talk about it, but then, so upper, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, let's talk about upper, strip, replace, find. So now string hello So what strip does is that this is let me just use it. That's the name. That's the name. String manipulation techniques. Okay. String manipulation techniques. Yes. So people are leaving, 34 people. Okay. So string 1, which is hello, and string 2, which is word. So this is concatenation. Concatenation is basically adding two values. Let me put it like that. Two values together. You understand? Which is basically strings added together. So there are many ways you can add it, like the F string, the formatting. We have some formatting. I think this is where they talked about the formatting. I think this is the place for the formatting. Okay, it's not yet. So now concatenation is just adding two distinct together. You can see it here. So string 1, hello word, hello, string 2, word. So we want to add it together. So what happens here is that, now let me print the result and so you see. So hello word. So if this space is not there, if this is not there, remove this. And see, you see that there's no space. Can you see? There's no space. So Ctrl Z. So if you run it again, so for me to reinforce the knowledge about the F string, so you can just say results. I want to reinforce the knowledge about F string. You want to go to F, the string, then you just put it like this, string 1, which is this, Abby, space, string 2, and then the print results. It's the same thing. The same thing. So let me just, okay, let me the same thing. Or I should put this one as result 1. So let me say result 1, and then print it. Can you see hello word, hello word? It prints result and prints result 1. So it's the same thing. Can you see? So this just reinforce our knowledge about F formatting, F string. So replication means you want to what? Multiply something. You want to multiply. That's replication. You want to multiply. So Python, Python, Python. You see, that's what replication means. It used to happen when you want to iterate something, when you want to iterate a value. You understand? We are going to get there. When you want to iterate a value, you just do it like that. And then slicing is just you want to cut a part. Now this is where we should dwell. We should dwell on this. Now slicing is just if you want to, how do I put it now? You want to cut a part. You want to slice a part, and that is where we had problem. Yeah, in the group. So I'm going to dwell so much on this so that people that do not have the understanding, who understands slicing. If you don't understand this slicing, please let me know. And if you're still with me, please let me know. And I will fill the feedback form. $11. So okay, what should we do? Should we just postpone it to tomorrow? This is 8:52. Yeah, this is about 9 p.m. Yeah. Should we just postpone it to tomorrow? Please, guys. Okay, you know what? Let's finish with this and then we are going to just do it. So let's just finish with this. Okay, don't worry, please. I'm sorry, guys. Let's just this slicing and let's just finish this string manipulation techniques example and then we go. So now, slicing is you cutting the part of the what's it called? Cutting the part of anything. For example, this text. So now indexing, I want to talk to you about indexing. Indexing in Python. So indexing in Python is so let's say, for example, Python is amazing. So Python is amazing, right? Okay, no, this will not explain. This will not explain to me. This will not explain what I want to do. Okay, let me just little boxes. Little boxes. Okay, so let's say name. This is 1. This is okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So in Python, this is 0. Like I said, it's not a language, right? So you need to do according. So let's say this is name N-A-M-E. Oh, there it is. N-A-M-E, right? So I'm looking for. So this is 0, 1, 2. Let me change the color. Sorry. Fear. Two. Sorry, I'm trying to just make sense of. All right, so in Oman language, just trying to make sense of what I want to do. In Oman language, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. That's our numbering, right? But in computer is 0, 1, 2, 3. So now, if you count this one now, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, the computer is going to count the space. It's going to count the space with it. So if you now want to know the length of this text now, you want to know the length of the number. So you just say len text. Uh-oh. Goodbye. The money is not goodbye. Welcome to my paradise. Prince. So we have 17 numbers, right? If you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? So 17 and then Python. So now we want to remove Python. You want to remove the Python, you want to remove the Python from it, like you want to bring it out. So what we have to do is just because it starts from 0, you want to take from 0 Python to this. And Python is how many numbers? Python is 6 number. So we should be 0 to 6, right? And it might be easy for you to just say, why is it starting from 0? It's as simple as that. That's the language of computer. That's the language of Python, so to say. That's the language of Python. So it starts from 0. So basically like that. And what it does is that it's not going to add the 6th number, because 6 normal supposed to be add the space. Because if I say 7 now, you see that what is going to be printed? What is going to be printed? There will be space at the front. Or how do I put it down? Okay, let me say Pythons. Yeah, like that. So and I put 6, simple 6 is going to, yeah, print. It has done, this one has increased to 18. Now, but if I now increase this one to 7 Pythons, can you see what I'm trying to say? So it's going to, so 7, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is not going to add the space. So that is what we are trying to, if you're in the Nigerian group, that's what we are trying to explain in the Nigerian group. That it at the 0 is going to start with, this one is inclusive, but this one is exclusive. So it will include the number or the element or the text or anything that 0 is representing, but it will not add what 6 is representing. Because to Python, this is what the index of n here, this n here is 5. It's index 5. That's the index in Python. That's the index. But to we, which is humans, the index should be what? Should be 6, because it is the 6th number. But to Python, that is the 5th, because the numbering of Python, so to say, start from 0, not 1. And that is why it is like that. I do not know if it's okay with us. But then, so now slicing is, what it does is that it said slicing is the process of extracting specific portions of the strings. It allows us to work with substring and manipulate part of a string as needed. You can manipulate it, you can change it, you can remove it. Mind you, if you print text, the value of text has not changed. Why? Because we have saved what we sliced, this thing that we sliced, we have saved it inside substring. So the value of Python of text is not changing, nothing is changing. We only just sliced, we only just removed it, we sliced it. When you cut your yam, you cut part of your yam from it. So I don't know why I'm using food and kitchen, maybe because I like food anyways. So, but then there's this negative one. This negative one is the one that is most complex. And can I move on from this? Because I don't think I explained it well enough. Please, guys, can I move on from this? I'm really trying to just wrap it up. Hello, guys, can you hear me? Yes, I'm asking, can I move on from this place? I can move on. Okay. Okay, I can move on. So, and then this one is minus. This negative O now is like, since this one is 1, there are 2 ways you can do it. You can do it from the negative side. So, while this one is in the explanation I gave the other time, this I use a name maybe. I used and I said that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, right? No baby talk na Python talk. So now, but as much as this one is 3, another index you can use to represent it is -1. You understand? -1, because if you want to slice G from here now, and the reason is because there are some things that are very, very long. You don't know the number of the this, and you cannot be calculating and say, okay, which string, which index is A. For example, you cannot be calculating and say which index is A in. So instead of that, you can just say, okay, let me just start from the back, and maybe I want to pick the first. I want to pick the first word. You understand? First word. So or the last. Sorry, not the first. The last letter of the string. So you just use -1 instead of you putting 18. You just put what? -1, which means you want it to start from the back to the -7. So what is going to print out here is what is amazing. So basically, okay, this one it is not adding the minus. Listen, so this is not going to give. This is not giving us what we want here. This is going to give us what we want. So what the difference between this and this is just that this one starts the slicing from the front, and this one starts what the slicing from the back. Just as simple as that. I'm trying to be fast so that I'm not wasting our time. So and then he said, oh, what I even did there, they've done it down. So the -1 corresponds to the last character G, and the index 7 corresponds to. So it's not adding it. So now we want it to add it, so we now use it. So built-in string methods. Now this one is relatively simple. Upper, what is it going to do? It's going to put it in uppercase. Everything is what's going to be in uppercase. Dot upper. So let's now say you want to just put upper one. Let's see what's going to happen here. Error. There's no argument, but one is given, which so means it does not take any argument. You might be wondering, but then that does not take any argument. It's not a tuple. So because a tuple is like this, but there are some that are tuples that takes argument, takes some argument. So upper and then lower. If it is low, you just lower it. If you ever built some models, you know that this is very simple. This lower is very simple. Like when I say simple, like it's very, very useful. This dot lower, it will save us when we are building models. So now dot lower means it's going to put everything that you put in, is going to put it in lowercase. So and then capitalize is going to use the first word, the first letter to the what to be in capital. So that is different between capitalize and upper. Upper is going to, because we used to easily mistake it for each other. Upper is going to make all of the words, all of the letters capital letter. But capitalize is going to use the first letter of the word to be what? To be capital letter. Then strip is going to remove spaces. Strip is just going to remove spaces, unnecessary spaces. For example, you can look at the spaces here. You just want to strip it of the spaces. So that's what strip does. It's going to remove the spaces. Instead of, if you do not add, if I put it down, if I now add, let me add a colon there. Yeah, I want you to see the difference as I'm adding the colon. As I'm adding the colon there. So for you to see, can you see the spaces there? Can you see? Can you see the spaces? Can you see the spaces? So, but if you now put raw input, now put trimmed input, and then you see that trimmed inputs. Oh, because of this thing, because of the colon, it's not going to treat it because, so let's do it now. Can you see it has stripped it? So now the replace is going to replace a value. So what happens that this is going to, can you see that this one takes an argument, replace take an argument, but lower does not take an argument. Can you see? But this one takes an argument, does replace. So you go to the first argument is what you want to replace, and the second will be what you want to replace it with. You see now? So this is now going to give us JavaScript is a powerful programming language instead of, so let's print original text up. Let's print original text. You see the difference now? And the Python is a powerful programming language and JavaScript is what? A powerful programming language. So it takes Python and replaces it with JavaScript. So this one takes two arguments, right? The first argument is what you want to replace and what you want to replace it with. So find is going to find the keyword. So it's going to print the index of the keyword. That's what it's going to do. So keyword is what? Is in what? 16. So, and it's going to tell you from where it started, not from where it ends, from where it started. So if you check it now, or keyword, let's use K, you see that K started from 16. K started from 16. Can you see? So it's going to give you from where it started. Okay, started from 16, that's what it's going to show you. So, examples, now that we have gone through the theory, let's get our hands dirty. Written A, name, Alice. So you want to concatenate. So if you want to concatenate it, I don't even do this one, but if you want to concatenate it, what do you print? Personalized greeting. So I think we are done. We're almost done now. Personalized greeting will be, like I said, I like using a string, so I'll use my S string. So it will be greeting. Sorry. greeting, and then name, exclamation mark. So let me just put comma here. So print personalized greeting, A, Alice, exclamation mark. Can you see? Another way you can write it. Another way you can write it is just say greeting. It is going to be in bracket now. Oh, never know you go do. So let's use the F string. Let's not wait our time. Use the F string, personalized greeting, but there's other way you can write it, and we've done it in the past. So and then, oh yeah, this is it. Greeting. Oh, I use quotation. I'm not supposed to use quotation. So I use quotation. I'm not supposed to use quotation. That's a mistake I did there. So look at what they did there. Example 2, replication. If you want to replicate this one times 3, blah blah blah, it's going to give you ABC, 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 ABC in 5 places. String manipulation, manipulate string. What do you want to do? Convert the data string to uppercase. Okay. If you want to convert it to uppercase, okay, these are the solution. So uppercase string is dot upper. You want to capitalize it, you want dot capitalize, and you want to replace string with text. Dot replace. Then you put in what you want to replace and what you want to replace it with. Right? Then string methods, complex string, apple pie, apple juice, apple strike. So it says, given the following string, replace all current occurrences of apple with oranges and bring the result, blah. So yeah, where you see apple, replace it with orange, sharp. And then it's going to what? Run it. Then run it, blah. Orange pie. Uh-oh. Okay, apple, it's orange pie, orange juice, orange tart. So if there's going to be the time tomorrow, so data types and operations, and in fact, and data structures. So we're just going to, okay. Oh, my Oga, you there here? Oh yeah, I'll mute you, my Oga. So you were raising your hands, and since I did not even know. So guys, have you guys filled the form? This is the form. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to stop sharing my screen now. So see why you can unmute yourself now. You wanted to talk. Yes, you can get the. I'm coming to. Yes, you can get the. You can get the recording. I'm a Nigerian. I'm Sadev. My name is Sadev. I'm a Nigerian. I don't know if you're in the Nigerian group. Okay, you want to. Okay, talk. Nkiru, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, hi. Thank you very much for the session. I didn't join from beginning. I wanted to ask how you open the Jupyter work environment that you were engaging on.
That's taking us way back. So the thing is that
Sorry.
Yeah, and I won't actually directly answer the question. I won't directly answer the question because we've done it we've done it before, and there's someone user that's raised up his hand. Please, you can just raise up your hand again if you want to talk. So it's just I did not use Anaconda. I downloaded it separately, and that's how I was able to open it. So if you are using Anaconda, if you've done data science, data analysis, SQL, you should be able to walk yourself around but if you're in the group, I'll send a link, a guide link, maybe from YouTube, for you to watch. Then if you have any questions, if you encounter any problem, then you can reach out to me in the group. So just search for that, Sir Dave. Maybe I'll just go to the group. If you're in the group, Sir
Yes,
Dave
I
in the
am.
group. So
Okay.
Sir Dave, I'm talking about a Nash now. Now, if you're in the group, just Sir Dave, and then just ask who is Sir Dave. I will show my head. I could pop up my head. So, and then maybe we can talk because that is really, really, really going to draw us way, 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 way back. So, the WhatsApp group link, okay. Let me stop the recording. Let's stop the recording.